Hey, it's Mr. Mabry, and now it's time for part 2 of our circulatory and respiratory system notes. In this part, we're going to talk about the arteries and arterioles and capillaries and veins and venules and all the roads and byways and highways that make the interstate system of your circulatory system run. So you don't need to record this picture, but I will have you notice, just look at the big things that stand out to you. Look at these arteries right here. They're so huge. And then the arterioles, they get a little bit smaller. And then look at those little tiny, those little cute little capillaries. They're so small, little single-cell capillaries. And then we get a little thicker. And then again, oh, boom, these really, really thick veins. And if you will, this is sort of like an interstate right here, so easy to ride. And then these are sort of like, you know, like off ramps off the interstate. They're a little smaller. And then these are like little roads to complete my analogy. And then we're going to get back on the on ramps to the interstate. And now we're back on, like, you know, I-35 right here. So now that you've got sort of a picture for, like, I've got these really thick vessels and thinner and then real skinny and then thicker and then real thick again, let's dive into the details. Now, I would like you to draw this picture because I think it's real helpful. So if you want to pause the video to draw and label this picture now, go for it. Okay, I'm assuming you have this picture drawn and labeled, and now what you're going to see is a series of slides that are bullet points underneath this picture. So I would add all of these words over here underneath the picture. So let's talk arteries. Notice I've got the A highlighted here and the A highlighted here. That's to help you remember arteries carry blood away from the heart. Here's the artery in our picture, and I think the best way to remember arteries is it's like I-29, which is just right over there next to Berry Woods. It's the huge interstate that carries us to Kansas City if we want to head there. It's one of the thickest blood vessels, and it has the highest blood pressure, because remember our heart, our blood went choo, 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 all through the body. Well, the arteries carry blood that just got squeezed out of the heart, so they have these really, really thick railings to keep your blood vessels from popping. So, yay, arteries, thick blood vessels. Now, arteries, once they get close to a section of the body that needs blood, they start to branch off here. And here's our little arterioles, or exit ramps. And they're still carrying blood away from the heart, but now they're a little bit smaller because we're on our way to little cells. And they have a little bit less pressure than the arteries do. And so here's our huge arteries carrying blood everywhere. We're starting to branch off of the main passageway until we turn into little capillaries. Now, capillaries are like side streets, okay? They're really small, they're extremely thin, and they're made of just single cells. I mean, you can't see in here because they're so skinny, but the walls are so skinny that this is, remember the cell membrane and the dancing layers of fats? Well, these capillaries are so skinny that stuff can just shoom, and just shoot through the capillaries. And so this is where gases and nutrients leave your cells and leave the capillaries, and they switch places. So it's like, okay, so here's a capillary. It's like floating. Here's a little cell up here, right? And it's like, hey, man, I got some carbon dioxide I don't need. And so as the blood's flowing by, he's like, get out of here, carbon dioxide. And the carbon dioxide's like, okay. And it hops in the capillary and it keeps going. Or like the cell's like, hey man, I need some oxygen. Well, the oxygen's flowing by, and then it's just like, whoop, and it dances through those single layers, and it goes whoosh, into the cell, and the cell's like, all right, I'm good. So that's capillaries. It's where all the stuff in the blood gets to the cell, and all the trash in the cell gets into the blood. So now it's time for the blood, who doesn't have that oxygen. Uh-oh, time for class. So now we're ready for the blood to go back to the heart with all that trash in it that the cells didn't need, all that carbon dioxide and other waste products. So here we are. Let's get our pen back out. And here are all the cells that just got serviced by the capillaries. And now they're dumping their stuff back in here, going in the venules, who are small, but they're getting bigger and bigger as they're confluing. Good word choice, Mr. Mabry. Confluing together into these big veins. To come back to the heart. And isn't this interesting to show you? Look how thick these arteries are right here compared to veins because of the pressure in them coming from the heart. Arteries, even though they both have a big flow of blood, arteries have to be stronger because so much pressure is coming from that left ventricle. So here we are going back to the veins. We're on I-29. We're going back to the heart. And we're really thin. So what's interesting about veins is because they're so thin and there's not a lot of pressure, They're often found in skeletal muscles because when you walk and you move, the muscle helps push blood back to the heart, and they have valves in them, so when the blood's flowing up, if it starts to drop, these little valves go and they click into place. Now I'm getting ready to show you a slightly creepy picture of what happens when your valves start to give out. And what it looks like is varicose veins. So see these beautiful looking veins right here? Oh, so lovely. Here are these nice healthy veins that they're like this and they click into place for healthy people, but varicose veins are like, ooh, I'm not really feeling like clicking into place, and they start to get real knobby looking. So exercise keeps your veins from going poorly when your valves get weaker, and like all things, sometimes when you get old, they just get weaker and blood starts to pool and you get these really veiny veins. So write this section down about varicose veins. Valves not working, you don't want them. Here's some other lovely pictures of varicose veins I know you'll enjoy. There's some nice ones right there. There's some real nice veins right there. I'll tell you, you can get surgery to get these veins removed, and what they do is they come in and they snip the veins and they actually pull them out of your leg, and then your body, and this is what's so cool about and amazing about your body will actually grow a new vein to help find its way back to the heart. Your body has that ability, and so we remove the bad veins in order for your body to teach itself to make new veins with healthy valves that go back to your heart. Pretty awesome. Well, folks, that's it for your circulatory system. You know your heart, you know the vessels that take blood to and from the heart. Now it's your job to make sure you can rattle off those facts and the differences between the names of the different vessels in preparation for our frog dissection. Good luck.